Hello, fourth grade. Today we are going to work on a project that goes with our story, The Matchbox Diary. So for this project, you are going to need a template to make your own matchbox where you can put your own memory in, just like the great-grandpa. Something that will remind you of, oh yeah, that's from when I did this. And so you'll need this template, you will need your scissors, and you will need glue or glue stick. Okay, so the first thing to do is you are going to cut out all the solid lines. So now that those are cut out, you also need to note that this is a solid line, this is a solid line, this and this. So those get a little clip into each of those. Okay. The next step is everything that's dashed is a fold line. Okay. And so I would flip it over. This is the outer case. Okay, so here's the matchbox. It has an outer case and an inside box. Okay, so this piece becomes the outer case. So to fold it, we would fold on the fold lines. Make that crease nice and tight. And the next fold is way back here. Keep it nice and straight, take your time. And the next fold is here. And that last little piece. And so to make this outer sleeve, it's kind of like closing an envelope. The glue is just going to go on the flap and connect all of those pieces to be a rectangular case. So with all those folds, we just need a little drop of glue. So think of your art skills. Tiny river, not a lake, or you'll have a mess. If you're using a glue stick, make sure you hold it for quite a while to make sure that it stays in place. With liquid glue, probably you're going to hold it for about 10 seconds just to make sure that it stays where it's supposed to be. Trying to make that even with the edges on both sides. And then we'll let that dry. Your inner box, you can tell, just looks more complicated, doesn't it? So we're going to flip it over again. And we're going to fold up the sides. Okay. And I typically put it back. This folds all the way up. This folds up. And I just keep rotating it. And this folds up. Okay, now I've got all four edges. Now those cuts that we had before are our corners to connect. So we'll fold those tabs back as well. Again, you want to make sure that you line things up and keep things straight so that it stays together. Okay. Now comes the part of connecting this corner to the edge. So again, just dots, not a lot. Dot here and a dot here. And so now we want to pick these up and connect them to this. Now the tricky part here, you're going to have to hold this because you want it to stay as a 90-degree corner, right? See how it's kind of pulling away there? I want to make sure I hold this as a corner until it stays. I don't want any of this sticking out. So in a way, I want to make sure that the bottom of this is touching the bottom in there. I want it to be flat. Okay, now I do the same thing with the other side. Make sure you hold that glue for a little bit so that it stays. One dot on each tab. Okay. And remember, you want to hold it so that this stays as a 90-degree corner and this stays. So I'm going to pick this up and hold it for a little bit, and then we'll be back. Okay, so now we've got that. I've held it for a little bit, and our box looks pretty rectangular. The 90-degree corners look pretty good. It should fit inside of here. So the last step is these tabs fold into the box, okay, just to kind of seal that up. And so to do that, I'm going to put, did we crease those? Oh, we did crease those. So I would rewind, and I would also crease these ahead of time. So let's crease them before we put the glue on. That's just going to press into there, right? And same thing on this side. Let's crease it before we put the glue on it. Get that in there nice and tight to the box so we don't have a lot sticking out. If it's too tall, it won't slip into your case, right? So we want to make sure that that's folded properly. Okay, now that it's creased, let's bring it back up. 2 little dots on the tabs. And these are really little dots because we don't want to have extra glue in our box. And we just fold those down, and we'll hold it for a few seconds again. Okay, and the same thing with the other side. Pull this back up. 2 little dots. Fold it in and hold it for about 10 to 15 seconds. If you notice that it comes back up, like this one just did, you're going to hold it a little bit longer. And now you have your own matchbox to collect memories, like the great-grandpa in the Matchbox Diary.